This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, there you go. You know, mattering of who the host is and all that other weird stuff, because, I mean, nobody really cares about that. I mean, do they? I don't know. It's kind of a strange scenario to start off with. Anyways, how are you? How has the last 24 hours been? You know, the traditional, the traditional that we'd like to ask around here. We want to know how you are. Anyways, today is Whip 'em Out Wednesday, number 1, which is super important. It is October the 11th of 2023, day 284th of the year, and only 81 days left to go. I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods as we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Oh, yes, hanging out over there, over here, over everywhere of what is going on. No doubt about that. Anyway, so as we are talking today on this lovely Whip 'em Out Wednesday, a lot of stuff to uncover, to cover. I don't know, cover and uncover. Maybe there's just some weird stuff there. I don't know. Just some things to think about. So we'll talk about that stuff and do that and correct this and do the other stuff, because if not, we would be doing things that you're not going to care about. No, seriously, that's what we do. So if you want to interact with the show, callinradio.com is the easiest way to do so. Callinradio.com. We'll do the video, the audio, and let's see, the text messaging. Everything all in one system, just for you right there. That's the easiest way to do it. We are on different social media platforms that work sometimes and don't work at others, depending on what's going on. But we are a radio station first, followed by a podcast network that does some streaming stuff in regards of what is going on. Seriously, that is how it goes. That is the layout of the Lanzo. And I'm not talking about Carizian, so just so you know. So if you have that, know this, and have some plans, we can do some things, no doubt. We are a show that focuses on safety and talks about safety in the news. This is hour number 1 of a 3-hour show. This first hour, it's all about the Rated R Safety Show. As we go into 2 and 3, it's entertainment and music. We move over to Radio Big exclusively, even though we are simulcasting right now on Safety FM and Radio Big. I like to give the layout of the land. Some people go, I listen to your show. I don't need you to explain it every day. Well, some people don't, and I just don't want it to be where you're doing just a drive by. You do the drive by, and then you didn't know that what the show consisted of. So I want to give you opportunities, and we try to keep it topical on what is going on because there's a lot of topics that happen all the time as we are hanging out and doing our thing. Just really how it goes. So with that being said, we have some professional broadcasters that hang out with us because they're just brave like that. So with them being that brave, they tell us what's going on with the news. It's kind of fun in regards to that, so don't worry about that. So with that being said, why don't we start talking immediately about what the hell was trending in the overnight, and then we'll go from there. So let's do that.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so when I look into the trends of the ends of the ends, this is what the trending information looks like for you. A document duo finds a century-old shipwreck at SBF's X. Takes the stand on his fraud trial. Oh, that's not a good place to be. Bob Costa saved a guy, and Madonna once licked Al Pacino. That sounds a little interesting. Elon Musk threatened to burn down Warner Brothers, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's beat a dead vulture. We'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about some things that are going on in some other sides of the world. Also, Fergie is considering visiting an old career opportunity. Don't know why we're talking about that, but hey, it is a subject matter of what we got. And maybe today we'll take a little revisit of what we're doing on Monday. I think we're going to do that, but we'll take a look as we get into it for our main story. And that's what we got going on. So that's it. So now, like I was telling you, I do have the pro broads, meaning broadcasters, not broads. I don't have pro broads. That just sounds like something entirely wrong that shouldn't be said out loud, but I just did. So there you go. Anyways, all pictures, images, and videos, callinradio.com on this Whip 'em Out Wednesday, just so you know. We don't share them on the air because it does kind of get kind of weird sometimes. So there you go. A lot of stuff. And then we go from there. Yeah, no doubt about it. So pro broadcasters waiting. I got some Mark Mayfield on the other side of the equation. Yeah, Mark Mayfield, other side of the equation. Why don't we go ahead and get him in here, and let's get rolling.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will travel to Israel this week to show U.S. support for the country following attacks by the terrorist group Hamas. He's expected to arrive Thursday to meet with senior Israeli officials to hear about the situation on the ground. President Biden is calling the attacks by Hamas on Israel an act of sheer evil.
More than 1,000 civilians slaughtered in Israel, among them at least 14 American citizens killed.
American citizens are also among those being held hostage by Hamas. The president reaffirmed U.S. support for Israel and said his administration is working to surge additional military assistance to the country. When Congress returns, Biden plans to ask lawmakers to take urgent action on the national security requirements of critical U.S. allies. An American journalist detained in Russia will remain in jail through at least November. Trey Thomas reports.
Evan Gershkovich lost an appeal to be released from the Moscow jail where he's being held. The Wall Street Journal reporter was accredited by Russia's foreign ministry to report from the country, but was detained in March on espionage charges. I'm Trey Thomas.
Abortion in North Carolina fell by more than 30% in 1 month after the state's 12-week abortion ban went into effect. An analysis by the abortion rights group, the Guttmacher Institute, showed there were over 1,300 fewer abortions in July compared to June. A lead author of the report said the decline probably reflects fewer people traveling to North Carolina from out of state for abortions because of the added restrictions along with the 12-week limit. And with no winners Monday night, the Knicks Powerball drawing is for the second largest lottery jackpot in U.S. history. Winning numbers tonight would bring in a prize of $1.73 billion, or a lump cash payment of $756 million. The last jackpot, just over $1 billion, was won back on July 19th. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Israel's military says hundreds of thousands of troops are at the Gaza border ready to execute their mission. A ground offensive is expected after Hamas attacks on Israel over the weekend, which killed over 1,000 people. An Australian journalist has returned home from China after more than 3 years in detention, and the US has condemned an artillery strike on an internment camp for displaced people in Myanmar.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
The U.S. can't confirm how many Americans are being held hostage by Hamas following the terrorist group's attack on Israel.
We mourn for all their lives, and we're actively working with Israelis to determine the whereabouts of the missing, including missing American citizens.
National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan told reporters on Tuesday that at least 20 Americans are currently unaccounted for, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're all being held hostage. He said the administration is actively working with Israel to find those who are missing. President Biden on Tuesday said he had no higher priority than securing the release of Americans held hostage. The number of Americans killed is also at least 14. Republican and Democratic lawmakers have introduced a bill to provide $2 billion in aid for Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system. Democrats Josh Gottheimer of New Jersey and Brad Schneider of Illinois, along with Republicans Claudia Tenney of New York and Max Miller of Ohio, introduced the bill on Tuesday. Iron Dome is a system that intercepts rockets fired at Israel. Lawmakers from both parties have vowed to support Israel, but Congress can't act because there is no House Speaker after Kevin McCarthy was removed last week. Republicans are scheduled to vote on a new speaker today. The U.S. Coast Guard has recovered more debris and presumed human remains from the Titan submersible that imploded in June. Brian Shook reports.
According to a press release from the Coast Guard headquarters, officials discovered more evidence on the floor of the Atlantic Ocean last week. The debris and human remains were retrieved and are now being examined at a U.S. port. Investigators from the U.S. and Canada will use the pieces to try to determine what caused the submersible to implode as it descended to the wreckage of the Titanic. I'm Brian Shook.
And another earthquake hit Afghanistan early Wednesday, just days after two large quakes in the same region killed more than 2,000 people. The new 6.3 magnitude quake struck before dawn Wednesday near Herat, a city of more than 500,000 people in the northwest of the country. When the quake hit, many people were sleeping outside because their homes were destroyed in Saturday's earthquakes. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves. Only on Safety FM.
Well, you know that here at Safety FM and Radio Big, we're always trying to look for life hacks. So with the busy season just around the corner, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for your jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kits, can help you fuel up with fast chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, and ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Refresh your healthy habits without missing a beat. Choose from 34 weekly flavored packs. Dietitian-approved meals ready to eat in 2 minutes. All you need to do is head over to factorsmeals.com/safetyfm50 and use code safetyfm50 to get 50% off. That's code safetyfm50 at factormeals.com/safetyfm50 to get 50% off. Go there. Do it now.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, magical. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So Freeform Friday is in 2 days. And listen, somebody was referencing to me recently about Freeform Friday about what exactly do I pull. I pulled the stuff that's left over from the week. So they were like, can I send something in? To answer the question, the answer is yes. You can always send something in. And we might use it. It's kind of the way that it goes. Sometimes we don't use stuff, but if you want to send it in, you're more than welcome to, because I'm always looking for new stuff. So there you go. So there is an opportunity. Anyway, still listening to the Rated R Safety Show, 17 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's get you into the shit list, because there's a lot of shit on this list that I need to share with you. FTX files Caroline Ellison testify on Tuesday that Sam Bankman-Fried orchestrated the systems that allowed the internal hedge fund, Alameda Research, to use customers' funds in FTX exchange for improper use. She also said that point blank, Sam directed me to commit these crimes, and added that he directed us to take customers' money to pay for loans. Ellison ran Alameda and dated SBF for a few months beginning in late 2018. Ellison has already struck a deal with prosecutors for her involvement with the fraud. Worth noting, while prosecutors already have a strong case against SBF considering illegal behavior, they need to prove that he knew what he was doing wasn't illegal to nail him on a specific charge. This is according to CNBC and CNN. So some stuff there. No doubt about that. What do you think? Anyways, a Minnesota man has broken his own world record for the heaviest pumpkin. This year's Travis Ginger hauled the massive squash to an annual world championship pumpkin weigh-off in California, where officials weighed it in at, you ready for this? 2,749 pounds. Travis previously set the record in 2020 and 2022 when he entered and weighed in at 2,560. He was taking home $30,000 in prize money as well as bragging rights. So I have to understand this. Is he pulling this thing out, taking it to California, and then bringing it back and replanting it? Because you can't tell me that he has multiple of these things that weigh over 2,000 pounds. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And how big is that pumpkin? Can I walk inside of a pumpkin? No, seriously, I want to have an understanding here on how that would work. It's kind of a weird one. Anyways, the CEO of Levi says there's a correct way to wash jeans, and it doesn't involve a washing machine. Charles Burth tells CNBC that washing a machine tears down the denim fiber and alters their shape and color. Instead, he advises spot cleaning stains when they happen, and then they can get gently dirty or sweaty, but put them on the shower and wash them by hand with soap, just like you would your body. Yeah, I had watched this thing on, what the hell was it? On National Geographic. I think it was like some Disney version of it, where somebody from Levi's was saying, do not wash your jeans unless totally necessary. Now, I don't know if that's a brand specific thing, or if it was just something about jeans in general. So I guess the question comes about right away is, how frequently do you wash your jeans, if at all? I don't know. There's some people that probably need to wash their body and their jeans, but that's a whole other story.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, I took a trip recently that I was kind of amazed on some of the odors inside of the vehicle, but I will leave that to another day. Yeah, and it was one of those passenger vehicle type of thing, not like the vehicle that I was driving. I just want to make sure, because I don't want people to think that I was with, that I have questions about. But hey, whatever, that is the way the world goes. Anyways, when a husband and a wife, documentary filmmakers Yvonne Thurtrich and Zach Meldnick heard the sonar anormality from science conducting a fish survey in Lake Huron, they developed their specialized underwater video equipment attached to a remotely operated drone. The anomaly turned out to be much more than than the big pile of rocks that they expected to find. It was a shipwreck. Closer investigation revealed that it was a merchant ship called the Africa, which sank back in 1895 while hauling coal between Ohio and Ontario during a snowstorm. The Africa was towing a ship called the Severn, and they eventually ran aground, and all crew survived. But the Africa and its 11 crew succumbed to the icy waters. The documentary makers are releasing the film that includes the find next year, but the main focus is actually the impact of the invasive mussels in the Great Lakes. So there you go. Are you looking forward to a documentary? I don't know. I was watching a documentary last night with one of my children about the Zodiac Killer, which was kind of interesting, because then I was like, hold on, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that was answered or not answered all in the documentary. Makes it kind of a fun time as we are talking. Anyways, take a listen to this as we are 22 minutes past the top of the hour. 57-year-old woman known as Mid-South Wedding Crasher has been arrested. Sarah Lynn Henson was busted last month at a Mississippi wedding where she was found snooping around the bridal suite while eating a piece of wedding cake, as they did best to try to convince the bride's sister that she was in fact an invited guest. The wedding coordinator realized that $200 was missing from her purse and had been in the suite. When asked about the missing money, Henson eventually copped up to it, and someone threatened to call the police. As for what she earned the nickname Mid-South Wedding Crasher, Henson was arrested in a wedding-related crimes in Alabama in 2019 and for stealing over $1,000 in gifts, cash, and gift cards at a different wedding in Mississippi in 2021. According to the Mississippi Department of Corrections site, Henson is on parole until 2025 for those previous crimes. I got some news for you. She's not on parole anymore once this actually all goes down.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yeah, think that I'm joking there. Think that I'm joking, because that's what I have to say. So, a lot of stuff, a lot of fun times, a lot of things that will happen as we are talking around, moving around, dancing around. I don't know why we got into the around about stuff. That kind of got weird quick, don't you think? Anyways, let's do this real quick, because it is 24. Oh, hold on. My computer is deciding not to play the game. Always fun when that happens. It doesn't want to play anymore. I always think it's weird when there's an update that comes out for something, and then you look and go, well, did the update fix anything, or did it make it worse? Because it always becomes one of those questions as you are looking. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm keeping it real. So let's do this. Let's have Aaron Royale come in with consumer and business news, because I think it's always important for us to talk about what the hell's going on there. And then we'll talk about the stocks. So let's do that.
A plan that would allow Texas parents to use tax dollars to send their kids to private school is being presented at the state capitol.
The goal of this legislation is to empower our Texas families and the nearly 6 million students in Texas schools with education freedom. Moms and dads and our students across the state need education options that aren't always available to them in public schools.
The bill from State Senator Brandon Creighton would spend $500 million on vouchers. That would be enough to help about 57,000 families leave public schools. There would be a lottery, and applicants would be capped at 500% of the poverty level. That's $150,000 for a family of 4. Google Cloud is bringing artificial intelligence search capabilities to doctors. Matt Mattinson has more.
Google says its Vertex AI search platform will help clinicians quickly access information that may be stored in different data sources. The company said it'll be a valuable time saver.
Americans are less enthused now about corporations involving themselves in advocacy for social issues than they were last year. A new report from the Public Affairs Council shows 57% surveyed say that they support companies trying to engage politically, down from 66% in 2022. There's a line drawn between political parties, with Democrats more likely than Republicans to say corporations should be involved in issues of discrimination on the basis of race or gender. The United Auto Workers strike is now on day 26. UAW members are currently on strike in 43 different facilities across the country. Union President Shawn Fain has been adding more plants to the strike as negotiations with the big 3 automakers continue, but last week he decided to not add to the picket line. Monday, GM released details of its latest proposal, which include 20% wage increases over the life of the new contract. Union workers say they want a 40% pay increase, cost of living adjustment, and pensions for all workers. Anderson Economic Group reports the labor disputes has cost the industry $5.5 billion. With consumer and business news, Aaron Real, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Aaron, for the información on what the hell's going on, because that's important. Let's not lie here. But man, it makes it interesting when you start thinking about that it's cost the industry $5 billion, the UAW strike. I mean, think about it. Like, over the lifetime, if you changed what you were looking for, what is the cost? I'm just asking. I don't know. I don't know anything. We just sit around here and talk and look at stuff all day. That's kind of what happens. Anyway, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. The Dow was up 134 points to close at 33,739 on Tuesday. The S&P added 22 points to close at 4,358, and the NASDAQ added 78 points to close at 13,562. West Texas Intermediate closed at $85 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $87 a barrel. The national average of a gallon of gas was $3.68 on Tuesday. Bitcoin slid around $27,400 on Tuesday. There was more than 2,274 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Tuesday, and about 72 such cancellations. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you this, and let's calm it down. Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for $1.73 billion jackpot, or a $756 million cash payout. So there you go. Show me the money. It's the second largest jackpot in U.S. history. Yep, second largest in U.S. history. Does this cause you to want to play the game? Like, seriously. I don't know. The funny part is that people start having all kinds of weird dreams about this stuff immediately when they start hearing this. I mean, I don't know. I always remember hearing someone say, don't hatch the chickens until you know that something is actually all the way through. Just kind of the way that it goes. So I don't know. Some things to think about for sure. So with that being said, let's continue talking about some other stuff that is going on inside of the world-o. Because that is what we do around here. So seriously, as I take a look around and a glance and a pounder, and let's see, What else do we have around here? Do I have something good to share with you? Take a listen to this. The Morgan State University in Baltimore will be less open campus following the homecoming week shooting that left 5 people wounded during Tuesday night's town hall. The university president, David Wilson, said that HBCU will add 8,000 feet of fencing effectively enclosing about 90% of the campus.
Not to keep out our neighbors and our community writ large. We are doing it to keep out the bad actors.
So there you go, to keep out the bad actors. That's what he said. So there you go, some stuff to think about as we are talking. In addition, there will be there are also plans to place armed MSU police officers in front of the Thurhog Marshall Residence Hall 24/7. Wilson says the university has been planning to add metal detectors to the campus buildings and security booths installed outside of the Thurgood Marshall Dining Hall. The proposed $22 million security plan will now be submitted to the Maryland Governor Wes Moore. Morgan State University President Dr. David Wilson says that he spoke with students who had been shot last week, relaying one message.
The students said, "Tell them today may look grim, but tomorrow is bright."
So today will look grim, but tomorrow will be bright. So there you go. A show of support for and by the San Diego Jewish community after a deadly attack against Israel. Dozens are gathering at the Lawrence Jewish Community Center in San Diego in La Jolla neighborhood. Jim Luray told NBC that he's been in touch with family members and the news is not good.
My 19-year-old granddaughter knows 2 girls who are missing. My 15-year-old granddaughter has 2 girls in her class that are murdered.
The San Diegan Reese Etney says that her son's daughter-in-law and grandchild are trapped in Israel. She says that she believes that her son can get his wife and child out of the country, but that he will stay behind. So take a listen to this on what she said.
I've vacillated between anger and tears. I teach at Chabad in Scripps Ranch. It took me a while to contain myself to go there. It's very hard. It's very hard.
So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of there as we are talking. Anyways, with that being said, 32 minutes past the top of the hour, I think it's time for us to do that thing that we do around this time on this lovely Whip 'em Out Wednesday.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes, main story, Rated R Safety Show, because listen. There is always time to do things. There is always time to talk. There is always time to grant the world your thoughts about what is going on. So let's talk about this. Have you ever worked anywhere where you've been extremely frustrated that new ideas are not shared? Like, think about it. That be it with anything inside of the organization. And I mean the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So let's talk about this because I want to bring this up. And this one, if anything, have and express new ideas. You know, as I continue to review this book, I keep on thinking there are some things I want to talk about, and we're just going to pull it directly out of the book because that's the easiest way to do it. View the world differently, solve problems creatively, and think of new ways to use old processes. Invent something amazing, build a better mousetrap. We all have new ideas. What we often don't have is the permission to speak of these ideas out loud, to give our ideas a voice. Think about that. The revolutionary acts here are twofold. First, we need to have and honor our new ideas. Secondly, we have to have the stamina and courage to speak these ideas out loud. Our ideas could be rejected. We could put ourselves in a situation where we could be thought of as silly or stupid. We could also have the ideas that actually change the very texture of our workplace. Proposing a new idea is definitely high-risk behavior, but if you have an idea that you believe in actually has legs, the real question becomes, what is there to lose? That said, how revolutionary is it to create an environment in which an idea can be freely expressed and valued in your workplace? When you truly know the importance of presenting a new idea, you can use this knowledge to profoundly change your work environment by working to create an environment that makes room for other people's new ideas. Yeah. That's page 39 of this lovely book, Simple Revolutionary Acts. I have to tell you, one of my favorites. It really is. And I don't say that just to say it. But think about this real quick. If you have a new idea, or just an idea in general, and you share it, what are you risking? And listen, I know rejection's not good. I have the hardest time with rejection. I really do. But I look at it from the standpoint of, imagine the things that can change inside of your work environment. I think it's kind of funny because I've seen so many things change throughout the years by being able to talk to different organizations about ideas that they have. Ideas that people inside of the org have. And it's interesting as I look back sometimes and I look at like the environment that we have here at Safety FM in regards of the ideas that came about and how this whole thing started. It came from an idea that somebody else considered that it would be a failure that we proposed to an organization or that was proposed to an organization. And I kind of sit back and chuckle now in regards on how it all worked out. But hey, that's the way that life goes. Here's the thing. It's not about having an idea and it being somebody running with it right away, because that's not always the case. Sometimes they have to be recirculated, repurposed, revalued, re-looked at, all that kind of fun stuff. It's kind of sucks when the rejection side thing is occurring, but sometimes when it gets done, you kind of go through it and go, wow, it's kind of good that it was rejected, because if it wasn't rejected, it probably wouldn't be as good as it is today. Think about that for a moment. Yeah, I know rejection sucks, but think about it.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN. It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com. So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com/one. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Warning. Listening to other radio stations could cause testicle shrinkage.
I'm talking the truth.
Seems that now you have to go. I hid in this place until the day I can come take you away. Even in all the pain did try. The moon bleeds bloodshot red eyes. Just move and sway, just move and sway. Let the spirit take you away. Oh.
Okay, 43 minutes past the top of the hour. You are still listening to the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM and Radio Big, as we get to do all the fun stuff. I don't know what's fun, but hey, we're doing it. It is still Whip 'em Out Wednesday, and you know, it is some good times in regards of what's going on in the chat. No doubt about that. Okay, this song right here, Moonlight by Free the People. Available on Spotify, YouTube Music, and Apple Music. So there you go. Fun stuff. You can give a little downloady action, a little streamer-eamer action. So before I go into the next thing, let me tell you a couple things real quick. Well, first, let's thanks for Free the People, because that's important. For allowing us to play Moonlight. With that being said, let me tell you this, and then I'll tell you the next part, because this is going to be important, because this is probably the most important thing that I ever tell anyway. And this is about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. To Write Love on Her Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com to find out more information. To Write Love on Her Arms. TWLOHA.com. Seriously. TWLOHA.com to find out more. Listen, this conversation's not an easy one. People struggle with depression, anxiety, mental health issues all the time. And it's a conversation that we need to talk about. It's not just something to, oh, it's okay. I mean, this can lead from addiction, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support. Everything that you can think of, they have available on there, or they can actually point you into the right direction to get there. That's To Write Love on Her Arms, TWLOHA.com. There you go. Some stuff going on right there. To Write Love on Her Arms. Click on the section that says Find Help. It will change the way you look at things. All kinds of different things involved as well. You can get involved. You can talk about the stories. You can donate. You can take a look at events that are coming up. It's all importante. No, seriously. And sometimes I say that and people are, oh yeah, you're just saying that it's important. No, it's important. It is important. I'm going to tell you about an event if you're in Florida on on November the 4th. AFSP, Out of the Darkness Walk in Brevard County. This is in Melbourne, starting at 9 o'clock in the morning in Wickham Park. Seriously. So walking out of the darkness, they're going to be there. So there you go. It's the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. We'll be wearing To Write Love on Our Arm shirts, and we'll hope to walk with you too. Walk begins at 10, walk ends at 12. Listen, I tell you that these community events are so important. There's all kinds of other events that are there as well, but I think that it's something you need to look at. Just to get involved in local communities in regard to spreading this message, because it's so important. It really is. I don't know how to say it any other way. So, To Write Love on Her Arms, TWLOHA.com. Yeah. The funny part is that I kind of feel like at times I live on this website because I'm just constantly there taking a look around at all the stuff that they have. But before I get too thrown off, TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. I want to tell you this. I don't know if you've seen this, but there is a new iPhone that come out, and Google has released their new versionality of a phone. Now, Google did announce that during their most recent event of their newest phone, that they are guaranteeing 7 years worth of updates for that device. Now, this is a guarantee that Google's putting out there. Now, if they're not talking about just security, like they're talking about full-blown iOS, listen to me, operating system updates. Now, I don't know, but if you take a look at some of the track record that someone like Google has, they have discontinued service after service after service after service, that I have a hard time believing this. And I'm not picking on Google because I use Google stuff all the time. I mean, I'm really more of an Apple person, but that's a whole other story. But it becomes interesting when you put that out in the public, that you're saying we are going to give you this amount of updates going forward. So would this encourage you as a consumer to purchase their devices now because of this? Or would you still kind of be, I'm not sure, and on the fence? I mean, think about it real quick. I talk about YouTube Music on this show, but you are aware that was Google Music at one point. They just kind of rebranded what they were. And the weird part is that something like Google Music was licensed to work on Sonos. But YouTube Music, I mean, at least as late as yesterday, does not work on it unless you're streaming directly off the device. It's not like something you could pick. And it becomes very weird when you start thinking about these things. Because, yes, it's still the same quote-unquote brand, but it's a license agreement. So are you willing to take the risk with this? Or do you go, contraire, mon frere?
It's a
a show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about shooting some bull, because there is no doubt of what we're doing here. Here are some of the info that could come in handy, and I'm sorry for delivering the worst pun ever. A British psychologist says that the secret of weight loss may lie in eating your wrong hand. Professor Richard Wiseman, who teaches at the University of Oxford, says that using your non-dominant hand for eating will likely lead to less food consumption because doing so takes longer, and it forces you to be more mindful because you need to sort out the coordination issues, at least until you get used to it, and then you can just shovel the food in real time with both hands. Here's another one. The myth of being fat but fit. Yeah, it's been debunked by a new study. The German researchers found that the obese individuals, even if they appear healthy, are still 50% more susceptible to coronary heart disease, and they are much more likely to develop a type 2 diabetes. The research says that weight management and recommendation for weight loss are important for people living by metabolically healthy obesity. Also unhealthy, recommending weight loss to someone living with metabolically healthy obesity. So it becomes very interesting in regards of when you take a listen to some of this stuff, because I never know. Like, how do you make a determination about this? I remember a long time ago when the Nintendo Wii came out and they had that balance board thing, and I put my height and my weight inside of there, and it said that I was obese. I was kind of thrown off by that. Because, like, how does it make that determination? It's like, and like, what scales should you use to make these determinations going forward? I don't know. I have a hard time understanding all this weight stuff. Like, I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and they're telling me that they're going through the process that they want to bulk up and gain muscle, but they're going through a weight loss program to gain muscle first, or to lose fat to gain muscle. And I was like, this makes absolutely no sense. Because I always thought it was the other way around. You were supposed to put on the weight to try to bulk up. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of lost in that whole thing.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, well, anyways, with that being said, let's bring in something a little bit more beautiful. And let's talk to John Smalls for him to tell us about what the hell's going on the Motivation Minute on this Whip 'em Out Wednesday.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Gary. In the Fellowship of the Rings, J.R.R. Tolkien said, "All that is gold does not glitter. Not all those who wander are lost. The old that is strong does not wither. Deep roots are not reached by the frost. From the ashes a fire shall be woken. A light from the shadows shall spring. Renewed shall be the blade that was broken. The crownless shall again be king." First of all, what a beautiful way to say that. We don't speak like this anymore. It's a lost art. My view of what Tolkien said is sometimes we don't really know the full story about something until we get the details. I like to ask questions and then have conversations. I think it would be a great lesson for people who think they oppose each other. You should chat. You never know, you might just get along. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Hospital strikes, one based in California, the other in New Jersey. First, the Kaiser Permanente employers.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Hospital strikes, one based in California, the other in New Jersey. First, the Kaiser Permanente employers strike. That's over, with no new contract in sight. The 3-day multi-state healthcare workers strike ended Saturday morning. Not resolved, though. More than 75,000 employees walked out in the name of higher pay, more staffing. The next bargaining session between Kaiser and a coalition of unions is expected expected to happen in the coming days. The union says more walkouts are possible. And talks have resumed in New Jersey between striking nurses and Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital, again with a federal mediator involved. The two sides met Friday with the mediator to try to resolve the 2-month-old strike. Same issues in that strike as in Kaiser Permanente. Hospital officials say the major issue both sides are trying to resolve is enforceable nurse staffing levels. Health updates, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
Oh, yes, sarcastic, never. That's the way that it goes as we are talking. Anyways, always interesting stuff when the system clogs up, but we'll leave it at that. Let's continue talking a little bit, just a little bit. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Let's take a look around. Where do we want to go? Let's see. Back in 2018, a flight between Singapore and New Jersey becomes the longest direct commercial flight again. The flight lasted 17 hours and 52 minutes and covered 9,000 miles. Singapore Airline had flown the route previously, but couldn't keep up with the fuel costs. The reimagined route had no economy seats. Instead, in installing 67 business class seats and 94 premium economy with expanded seat and legroom. That happened back in 2018. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Rhea Ripley turns 27. John Luke Robertson, 28. TJ Watt, 29. Brandon Flynn turns 30. Cardi B, 31. Michelle Thrashner turns 38. Bradley James, 40. Trevor Donovan turns 43. Bat Boomer, 46. Emily DeChanel, 47. Jane Korolowski turns 55. Rikishi, he turns 58 today. And Joanne Kursak, she turns 61 today. So there you go. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, that's what they are. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I think I always have some of those that we can share and talk about and all that kind of fun stuff, because it always is important to talk about. There is no doubt about that. So let's take a look at some of them. It's National Pet Obesity Awareness Day, National Take Your Parents to Lunch Day, International Top Spinning Day, National Fossil Day, National Emergency Nurses Day, Bring Your Teddy Bear to Work School Day, National Sausage Pizza Day, International Day of the Girl Child, and Southern Food Heritage Day. So there you go. If you're looking at some days to celebrate, there is a load of them to be able to do so. So what do you think? Some stuff going on right there as we are talking. Let's continue with some other stuff before we get you the hell out of here on this Whip 'em Out Wednesday. Did you know that the average homeowner encounters a bug every other pest in 5 times a week, both inside and outside of their home, according to a survey? And when bugs cross their path, 15% into exterminator mode, immediately squishing a bug, regardless of where they see it, inside, outside. The survey of 2,000 Americans also found that 43% said that bugs or pests are found inside of their home. Only then would they kill it. A third, or 32%, will do the same only to bugs that they see outside. 22 would call in for a professional or get someone else to squish it for them. Right? That's why I got married. At least that's what I thought I got married. I don't know. I'm slightly confused here. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, try this one. I knocked over a plant in the kitchen, but my cat saw me, so I had to spray myself with water to know that the law applies to everyone. So there you go. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What was the most unexpected knock you got on your front door? That was before they caved it in. Okay, that's a different story. If you need something for the water cooler, try this. Question. A survey says that abs are the number one thing that we'd like to chisel at the gym. What body part came in second? Shoulders. So there you go. Some stuff to think about there. Anyways, thank you for hanging out at the top of the hour. I will be going over to Radio Big, hanging out, doing some of the stuff in the entertainment world. If you want to come over there and hang out with me, if you hang out on Safety FM, you'll be able to hang out with Sheldon Primus talking about the world of safety consulting. So there you go. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it doesn't make a lot of sense to do what we do around here. No doubt about that. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Build your own dreams, or someone else will hire you to build theirs. Think about that for a moment. A lot of people don't like that one, but it is true. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love ya. mean it, and goodbye.
Guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
Hearts are now anchored, we're searching no more. Raiding our way through the darkest of night, dressed in the skin of